what's going on, everybody? This is John Jake Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the Dayton Triangles Team Builder here on Madden 25. We're here at about we're closing in on that halfway point in the season, and we're doing okay. 2-4 is certainly not an ideal record, especially with being blown out the last couple of weeks. But at the same time, though, that's 2 more wins that I thought we were going to get, because we didn't come in as the most talented team on the planet, right? But we're going to close in here. We're going to start on the bye week. We're going to play a couple of games in this episode. We are going to be taking on the San Diego Fleet. And the San Diego Fleet have been, at an egregious spot like us. They're coming in at 1-5. But we have a 4-5 game on the road against San Diego. But then we're going to have a short turn after that. After we have our game against the San Diego Fleet, what we are going to have next is we are going to be taking on the New Orleans Breakers, who have one of the best records in the league, coming in at 5-1, and that's going to be a primetime game, really another measuring stick moment, like the one that we had earlier this year against DC. We did get blowout against DC, so we'll see if we can play a little bit better later this episode against this New Orleans squad. So should be a fun episode, should be a lengthy episode as well, so hopefully you guys get to enjoy all of this and much more. If you do, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, and then also hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. And with that being said, let's go ahead and see what kind of upgrades as well as press conferences we have coming in our direction. But before we even get into the gameplay, we have a couple of press conferences that, we got to go ahead and answer to as the head coach of this Dayton Triangles football team. And really want to take a look at, first of all, how successful my play calling has been on the offensive side of the ball, where we were asking how many times we get touchdowns in the red zone and how often we convert our red zone trips. And with that being said, I feel like we've been doing pretty good work in the red zone so far, or at least I thought about it, but I think we were at higher than 50%, but it looks like we're gonna end up getting trolled on because, oh my goodness, reporters trying to tell me, oh, I need to spend more time on analytics. Well, how about you be the ball coach? How about you do one of those things, right? Because we know who we are. We ain't even worried about it, man. But we have one more press conference that we got to go to real quick, as this conference is the last press conference that we have before we get into the actual bye week. And this next question, we'll see what this next question does end up being. If we were curious about anything that we wanted to do but on the trade deadline. Now, this might be a little bit of a glitch because I actually turn trades off in this franchise because it's not really much of a thing in the spring leagues. But, we're not going to be active, we're not going to move, and we're going to continue to go ahead and develop some of the younger players that are on our team for the future. Now, this was a great time for us to have some upgrades on our team for sure. Always an opportunity to get better. But most notably, we have Peter Townsend and Denario Allen getting some upgrades. So, really saw our secondary get torched over the last couple of weeks. So, it's nice to see our team get a little bit better in the secondary. And it's a big reason why for Peter Townsend in particular, I want to get better on that zone coverage, primarily because we do play a lot of zone, so to have him better at zone coverage is going to be helpful for us. And he gets a +3 in zone coverage, gets to be a natural 85, but he's not going to be a an actual 85 because of morale issues. We do also have an upgrade for Denario Allen as well, and we're going to do the same thing for Allen in the sense of we are going to work on the zone upgrade, which is a scheme fit for us, luckily. And for the zone upgrade, he gets a +4 in play recognition, as well as a +2 to zone coverage, so he gets to become a natural 79, so starting to turn into a very good player. But then after that, we have a couple more upgrades. This is from different positions, and this is for the offensive side of the ball. Now, Andrew Carr's been our starting quarterback. He's coming in as a rookie, and this is a great time for us to work with our young rookie quarterback, who's still sitting at a 73 overall at the moment. So he's okay. But I don't know if he's going to be our quarterback of the future per se. He does get +2 to both throw accuracy at the short and medium, so that will help us out here in the future. But he does have a lot of morale issues and like temporary boosts as well. And then finally we have Adam Judge, who's one of our actually our starting offensive linemen. We're going to look to try to replace him as a starter this coming off season. But for now, we're going to work on his pass protector, get him up to at least like a 49. Actually gets up to a 50 in pass protection. So that's good to see. He does get bumped up to a 60 overall, although it's not reflected as such. But after we get done with our press conferences, we move on to the next week, you know, getting ourselves out of bye week, a chance to really just try to heal up a little bit more. And Grayson Heineck also gets the opportunity to try and get a skill upgrade. And we're going to go for it here, man. We're going to go and put that 1 point into like possession so that we can work on trying to, you know, have him as even more of a red zone threat than what he already is. And he gets bumped to an 80 overall. He's a 79 right now because of the morale, but he does get a bunch of different skill boosts. Most notably, he gets a +5 for release, which is going to help him up in man coverage, particularly he's going up against a corner where he is already considered a mismatch for those types of defenders. Alright boys, so now game week is officially here, and now we're here in our meeting room. Want to go ahead and try to get together some things that, you know, is going to help us prepare ourselves in a position to where we're going to try to come out on top and try to get back to our winning ways, since I know 2-4 is a slow start. So we actually overheard some rumors that we are going to have a players only meeting, and we actually do get the opportunity here to go ahead and decide who kind of has the opportunity to lead said player meeting, or at least I can provide some input. And I really think our offense has been playing extremely well, so I'm going to go with an offensive player for this particular players only meeting, because we're not losing these games because of our offense. It's more of our defensive side of things. So we're going to go with Paul Lashley. He's one of the best players on our team, and I think we're going to roll with Paul Lashley here for this particular player meeting, and we'll see what those results are. And it sounds like the players only meeting ended up being a big success. Paul Lashley, you know, had that right personality. He has that kind of influence, and because of that, our offensive line is going to receive some upgrades, and then the backup running back's also going to get some upgrades as well. However, behind the scenes, so even though Paul Lashley seems like he's this great leader publicly, in private, Paul Lashley's going to try to start some drama. He's just straight up demanding, hey, give me the ball or I will be going somewhere else next season. So to be honest with you, our coach is going to fold like a lawn chair, because like Paul Lashley is the only player that we have that's at least like a 90 overall. And what Paul Lashley wants is plain and simple. Not only does he want more carries, we also want to try to get him a little bit more involved in the passing game. So multiple choices that we have in terms of trying to get him more involved in the passing game. And so this is what we ended up going with: 4 catches and 10 rush attempts. That's what we're going to try to go with for Paul Lashley here, right? We'll see if it works out for us, and it's something to keep in mind as we go into our next game that we do happen to have here against this San Diego Fleet squad, who is also a team that has to be trying to find its footing right now. So that being said, we'll jump into the action here early in the first quarter, as San Diego looking for that first down. Is actually going to get downfield and is going to move the sticks, as Perkins is going to pick up the first down for the San Diego Fleet. This Fleet team has absolutely struggled this year. They are 1-8, but coming off to a strong start here, as the San Diego Fleet are actually going to find the end zone. It's a touchdown for Randy Wall, so San Diego is actually going to jump on us here early. However, later on in the first quarter, we come across a 3rd and 16, and I want to try to pull a fast one here, get Paul Lashley out into the open space, but we're going to be well short of the marker here. Nice job there by San Diego, trying to rally towards the football. And now we just got to make a decision. Do we actually want to go for it here? Do we want to be ultra aggressive? or are we going to go ahead and just settle for a field goal? And you know what? We end up deciding, hey, straight up, we're going to just go ahead and settle for the field goal. But midway through the second quarter, we get the ball yet again, and Paul Lashley makes someone miss in the open field, and he's taking it to the crib. Touchdown, triangles, and Dayton is going to take the lead here on the road. What a run by Paul Lashley, man. Let's get it, bruh. You love to see it. But San Diego will respond. They will get a touchdown on the board themselves. And so with that being said, we have a chance. We got to try to come back out here and try to put up some more points on the scoreboard and do it ourselves, as we actually do meet one of Paul Lashley's goals already. He already has 4 catches in this game. But I want to try to take the lead here. That's the more important thing, as Caller's going to look over the right-hand side. He has a wide open man in DJ Porter. And DJ Porter is going to find the end zone. Touchdown, triangles. And Dayton, because of this score, is going to find itself with the lead. So that is able to streamline us up to a more significant lead as we find ourselves midway through the third quarter with a 26-14 lead as we try to move the chains here. As Caller's going to be in a 5-wide set, looking around, wants to throw deep down the left-hand side, and it's nearly intercepted. Wanted it all down the sideline, but Carroll was covering that extremely well. So now it's going to be 4th and 5, and you already know what time it is. We're actually going to go for this thing, as Caller's going to take a look under the gun formation. Dropping backs, looking over to right-hand side. He's going to launch it downfield, double covered. And yet Leon Thomas almost came down with it. Probably should have settled for a little bit more of a check down, but felt a little bit aggressive there. Thankfully, our defense does hold up for the most part as we make San Diego settle for a field goal. But we have a chance to put this game on ice, and this throw might do it. Grayson Heidick is able to make the catch over on the right-hand side. And Caller was very close to having his 3rd passing touchdown of the game. We'll see if we can get it here on this goal line situation. Throwing over to right-hand side, and Leon Thomas finds the end zone. Touchdown, triangles. And Dayton is going to score yet again. So this one should absolutely be put on ice. San Diego's going to try to desperately go for it here. 4th down, and the Fleet decide to go for it. And those sails will not be moving out anytime soon as San Diego loses another one. They're going to fall to 1-9 while we get back to our winning ways. Now, as we mentioned, many of the key metrics in our match with San Diego on the road do end up going our way, as we end up winning almost every facet of this game, with a couple exceptions here or there. But overall, I have to say, this is one of the best games that our team has actually played this whole season. Granted, it is against a 1-7 squad. However, Andrew Caller seems to have really grown into his own, as he had a brilliant performance, throwing for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns in the game. He also was very clean in terms of his ability to not throw any interceptions. We also tried to get Paul Lashley more involved into the game, and it worked pretty well. He averaged 7 yards a carry and had a 29-yard touchdown that really helped blow the game wide but make it open for us. As for our receivers, Chris Saxon led the way with 6 catches and 136 yards while finding the end zone. A couple of other guys did end up finding the end zone, as Leon Thomas was able to score, and then DJ Porter was also able to score as well. A nice job by this receiving core, who had an all-around performance. And then defensively, to be honest with you, defensively we had one of our best defensive performances of the year, as well as Ernest Cox led the way with tackles. He had 7 tackles in the game, with Dylan Wright and Jonathan Hicks both not too far behind. We didn't really get to this quarterback, with the exception of Matt Weaver. Matt Weaver did an excellent job getting a couple of sacks in the game. He's been a great second-year player out of Louisville for us. We also managed to get an interception today as well. It's Sheldon Abbott who was able to really take advantage. Sheldon Abbott is able to get an interception in the ballgame, and that was our only turnover that was forced by either defense. Glad it actually turned out in our direction, though. But directly after our brilliant performance against the San Diego Fleet, we were able to get an upgrade for one of our guys. Connor Heck is another one of those interior offensive linemen that we rotate at center, and feels good to win. So he's currently up to a 70 overall at the moment, and this will, well, keep him at a 70 overall, but at the same time though, gets a +2 to pass blocking power, and that's going to really assist our rookie quarterback as he continues to develop in this new level of professionalism. So you would think that after that big win, as well as fulfilling our promise that we made to Paul Lashley, that we would be okay, but no, Paul Lashley is going to continue to make these kind of demands. He wants to continue to be more involved in his offense. I understand where he's coming from, but he certainly could be someone that's causing more pain than what he actually brings to our football team. As a matter of fact, Collar was so good in the game against San Diego was that it was more than good enough to actually be named AFC Offensive Player of the Week over in the former AFC Conference. If you guys have some suggestions for conference names, let me know down in the comments. But Collar did a great job, like I said. I mean, took really good care of the football, and so he's definitely deserving of being named this Offensive Player of the Week. Now, we got ourselves through practice, and we are getting ourselves geared up for our big primetime matchup against the New Orleans Breakers, and we're coming out here, and we have a couple of upgrades to work through for our skill position players on the outside. Jason Bingham is one of them, and Jason Bingham is going to get an upgrade. Now, he's not really a scheme fit for our team right now, but certainly would like him to be, as we're going to spend a point on playmaker, and this will get Jason Bingham, who had that impressive preseason that allowed him to stay on the roster in the first place. Well, he's going to be able to get +2 in a variety of things, including catching, that juke move, release, and of course that deep route, because chicks certainly do love the long bomb. There was one other player, though, that was supposed to get an upgrade, though, and that was Jared Strong, one of the backup corners on this team. And like I said, like to really play that zone defense. And I really want to continue to hammer that, even though it would make him less of a scheme fit. And that will work, as Jared Strong does become a 67 overall because of that. He does also get a +2 to man coverage, in addition to zone coverage, so it works out in terms of being able to work on his man and his zone to become a better all-around corner. So let's go ahead now and lock in on our road matchup on Thursday night primetime action, taking on this New Orleans Breakers team. And New Orleans looks like one of those teams that could make a deep run in the UFL playoffs here in year number 1, but we almost get an interception on one of the first plays of the game. That's Paul Townsend that's able to try to get that pass loose. So now it's 2nd and 10, and they're going to dump it off to the tailback, as thought we had Paul Bass, everything under control with him, but Paul Bass could not make the tackle in open field, so probably should have been a 3rd and long, but instead going to be staring down a 3rd and 3, where New Orleans is going to go ahead, drop back the pass, looks over the middle, and it's going to be caught for a big gain down the sideline. Denorio Allen is going to have to bring him down, but to give all of those yards up on a 3rd down, that's certainly disappointing. So the drive will continue for New Orleans, as they will have a brand new set of downs that they can work off of. As now, 1st and 10 coming up. New Orleans is going to run it down the right-hand side, as Denorio Allen cannot wrap up this time around. The Breakers will strike first, as Marcus Clifford is able to find the end zone in this primetime matchup. So that means our offense is going to have to answer the bell. So here's our first offensive possession of the ball game, as we settle with a little bit of a halfback draw. Paul Lashley finding plenty of space in the open field, and Paul Lashley does good enough work in order to pick up that 1st down there. As now, 2nd and 7 coming up. Collar's going to go ahead and hand it off to Paul Lashley again. as Paul Lashley continues to be involved here early in this game. And I think if we're going to give up big chunk plays like we did against New Orleans, maybe it wouldn't be such a bad idea to try to go ahead and try to win out in open space and win that time of possession, but that's certainly going to complicate things a little bit there. Taking a sack like that, creating this 3rd and 15, really not ideal at all, but we'll see what our rookie quarterback can do. And sure enough, he's got an open man down the right-hand side, and DJ Porter picks up plenty of yards. We're going to be short of the first down marker, but you know what? We have a feeling of what kind of game this is going to be. So we are going to go for it here on 4th down as Collar drops back. He's going to look to the right-hand side, finds Chris Saxon, and Chris Saxon is going to move the sticks, so you're dating triangles. So now we have a brand new set of downs ourselves, a very methodical drive here for your Dayton squad, as we'll go right back to Paul Lashley. And Paul Lashley was very much involved in that San Diego game last week. 12 carries, 85 yards. We'll see if we can fake him out here yet again, looking over the middle of the field, but is going to be sacked in the backfield, and that will set up 3rd and long. And we're going to hope that Chris Saxon can get open out on the outside. Collar looks down the right-hand side, but instead dumps it off to the tight end. Grayson Heineck is not going to be able to hang on to it. So we will trot our kicker out. It looks like it's going to be about a 50-yarder. Not an easy kick to make, but our kicker is going to swing it right down the middle, and the kick is going to end up being good. So we're only down 7-3, but so certainly a lot of football left to be played, as that's a nice breakup there by Roberts, one of our star dev linebackers that we have alongside Dylan Wright. But we needed some more help here, clearly, because we have been struggling to find an answer for this passing game. And I mean this genuinely. We are struggling bad. Any suggestions that y'all guys have to be able to play better defense against the All Madden CPU, definitely let me know, because we might be needing it here. We are off to a slow start for sure. As again, throwing over the middle, finds Sidney Claxton. Sidney Claxton probably would have been able to pick up the first down if it wasn't for the fact that he kind of tripped over his own feet there. Wasn't sure if he's just trying to make a secure catch or what he was trying to do there. So now, 2nd and 4 coming up as they'll run right up the middle. It was just a real parting of the Red Sea by the defense. I really do appreciate that. Teaching some of those biblical stories with our rush defense contained here up the middle. We'll see if they can teach us some other lessons as well, as they throw again short over the right-hand side. It's another completion for this New Orleans squad, but there was an injury timeout, so hopefully the injury wasn't too far serious. I didn't see who it was, but the only thing that might be hurting is my ego, because we are absolutely getting torched here in these first couple of drives, and yet that will take us through the end of the first quarter. We're down 7-3, but this New Orleans team is quickly driving down the field. So with that being said, we'll get things rolling here with the start of the second quarter as they go play action. But look at this, we got a man coming right down the middle, and that is gonna be Weaver. 93 for the Dayton Triangles, as Matt Weaver is going to create a lot more space for our defense here. 2nd and goal now from the 12s. That breathing room is really nice to see. However, throwing over the middle, and my linebacker couldn't do anything. He literally didn't react. We were in the right spot, just couldn't make a play on the ball, and Jaden Polite is going to take full advantage. And unfortunately for us, we end up going 3 and out on the next possession. So, with that being said, we end up giving the ball right back to this New Orleans team, as even Dylan Wright is struggling to make plays for us with any sort of consistency, as that's going to be another New Orleans first down. As now, 1st and 10, throwing over the middle of the field, and that's going to be caught for Will Holloway. That's moves sticks in a pretty good pacing, a gain of 7 on the play. It helps eventually set up a 3rd and short. We'll see what New Orleans tries to do, and they're passing it, which I don't blame them. And they barely, and I mean barely, pick up this first down. It would have been phenomenal if we were able to get New Orleans off the field there, but unfortunately, that just simply wasn't meant to be at all. So again, another brand new, fresh set of downs, and they're continuing to demolish our secondary and our linebackers. This motion has been so difficult to handle, although we get a little bit of a lucky break there as Mark Clifford decides to run out of bounds on his own, couldn't contort himself upfield enough. As now, 3rd and 5 coming up again. Clifford goes into the backfield motion, throws over the middle, and it's going to be caught for the first down. Will Holloway just making the good decisions, taking what our defense is giving him, and we're trying our best to, mix it up as much as we can. But it seems like every single time New Orleans has a new puzzle piece that they can utilize. And so in this cat and mouse game, this chess piece match on Thursday Night Football, it seems like our defense doesn't have any of the answers. But we might be able to slow them down a little bit here, as we got a 3rd and goal from the 5. Looking over the middle, it's going to be caught. Touchdown, New Orleans. And the Breakers are going to score again. Max Bagley this time is going to score for New Orleans there. And so we find ourselves down 21-3. Already starting to, get into that Atlanta Falcons choking score. Maybe we got to let them score another one on purpose, and then we'll actually start locking in defensively. I have no idea, because, again, I'm out here in coverage. I'm covering things pretty well initially. Pass things off to the other guy in zone, and the other guy in zone, of course, doesn't really do anything. But they are going to leave a wide butt naked open person out on the flat. How that wasn't a bigger gain is completely beyond me. I'm going to be real with you. And we went hard to the flat. We went extremely hard to the flat. Something that I normally would not do. But then it opens up the intermediate passing game. And it leads to an even bigger gain here as New Orleans gets yet another goal line opportunity. And they will be 4 for 4 like a Wendy's combo, as New Orleans is absolutely just pouring it on right now. So with that being said, down 28-3 as Collar is going to set a man in motion. We still have a minute left before the end of the first half, and we'll see if we can do anything before we go into the halftime locker room. We still have all of our timeouts as Collar is going to throw to the left-hand side, and that's going to be hung on to for nearly a first down. We will use one of our timeouts for it. So now it's 3rd and short for the day in triangles. Big 3rd down in order to try to remain in the game as New Orleans sends the blitz. And it clears up all that space in the middle. Now we're going into our no huddle. Collar with a 5 wide set. He's going to drop back to pass. Might have something deep down the sideline. It's caught! Big play by Leon Thomas, as that was a big-time grab and a big-time throw as well. Sets up basically a red zone opportunity where we throw it out to the outside for a nice gain, but unfortunately, we're going to get in our own way for a split second as we are called for the offensive holding. So that's going to bring us back quite a bit, a 10-yard penalty there, as Collar is going to look over the middle of the field, and we're very fortunate that was only tipped away because they definitely read us like a book there. Got to make better decisions here on 2nd and 20 as Collar tries to throw over the middle yet again, and that's going to be a 3rd and long. So now, 3rd and 20 coming up as Collar's going to drop back. They send the house, but we make the great read as Grayson Heidick able to get open on the outside, even able to get out of bounds as well. So we probably have a couple more shots at the end zone if we want it. Might only need it this first time around, but Chris Saxon couldn't make the catch. Probably had a better read there, but our rookie quarterback did not see it. As Collar's going to again look over the middle of the field. He wants Paul Lashley, and Lashley's going to have it. Touchdown, Dayton. Now will help carry at least a little bit of momentum before we go into halftime. Listen, I think offensively, even though we only scored 10 points at the half, I think we're playing fine. We just haven't had the success that we're necessarily looking for. The big thing for us is trying to come out here and trying to get some stops defensively, because all of our meaningful drives that we had were all touchdowns for New Orleans. The only exception, of course, was they actually did decide to kneel it down for the end of the first half. So we'll see if we can figure things out here. We'll see if we can make any kind of adjustment, as the one silver lining for us is that we do at least get the ball to start the second half. And we're going to go ahead and run with Goldsberry, as Goldsberry is going to take it across the 35-yard line. And that's how we'll go ahead and get this party started here to begin the second half. Paul Lashley now is your second leading rusher in terms of rushing touchdowns. He's in that logjam for second at the moment. He's got 6. But with that being said, how about that catch by Heidick? Oh my goodness, that is a big time grab by our tight end, really making some big plays for us. As now 2nd and 8 coming up. Collar looks over the middle of the field. He's got an open man and Chris Saxon. Can he get away from the safety? Not quite, but Chris Saxon is able to get a massive chunk of yards there. That is our number 1 wide receiver, and you can see why. He may be getting open, but he knows how to make some things shake in the open field, as we'll go ahead and run it with Paul Lashley up the gut there after the big pass play, able to pick up 6. So it makes it having a lot more options here on second downs. We'll try to bounce this out to the last outside, and sure enough, we got it. Paul Lashley is going to actually be able to bounce this out to the outside. We're going to find the end zone, and that's going to be another touchdown for your Triangles. So with that said, it seems like our team is slowly starting to get back into this game, but we just got to find a way to try to create some space on defense. But we get penalized. It's Peter Townsend that's called for illegal contact. So we actually force a rare incompletion. It's penalized. And of course, on the very next play, New Orleans is going to score. They score again. We're down 35-17, chat. It is not looking good for us here on Thursday Night Football. But we just got to focus things offensively. And I'm sure, just looking at in terms of just the range of possibilities and probabilities, if we continue what we're doing on offense, we can at least, have a chance to accidentally walk into a stop. Because trust me, I have actually gotten stops on this game before. It just hasn't shown here in this particular matchup. Now, with that being said, 1st and 10, we got some pressing on the outside. So we'll see if we can watch this thing deep, and we might have a man down the sideline. But DJ Porter cannot hang it in. So Porter is going to have a big drop there. As now we're going to have 2nd and 10 instead. Dollar's going to drop back and throw over the middle of the field on the drag route, trying to find Grayson Heidick. But it doesn't go anywhere, so we'll have 3rd and 10 instead. So a big drive here for Collar, trying to get the 5-wide set. Somebody needs to get open. Collar looks to the right-hand side, but a dangerous throw. Fortunate that's going to also fall to the ground. And so that promising drive is going to end for us here, as now New Orleans will take back over at about the 25-yard line. As we read this, I actually did read this. Unfortunately, could not get myself in position soon enough. And we get torched yet again. It's been one of those days here in the Bayou, as this New Orleans defense simply, or New Orleans offense, I should say, simply cannot be stopped at all. And so, down by 25, midway through the 3rd quarter, just got to come out here and get a score before the end of the quarter. And then hope for some stops at some points, because we haven't delivered on the defensive side of the ball at all. We simply haven't done that. Offensively, for like an average professional team, we've been doing perfectly fine, but defense been another story. But we'll try to find a bigger play downfield, and didn't like what I saw with 2 of the deep routes, so I tried to check it down, and Chris Saxon could not bring it in. So now, 2nd and 10, it says we'll throw to the right-hand side off of the pivot route, and the pivot route be caught for a decent chunk of yards there, making the 3rd down much more manageable. As now, 3rd and 4 coming up, sending Lashley out to the outside. It's truly a 4-wide set. But we got a man open down the opposite side. It's Leon Thomas. You know, trying to make that throw from the farther hash is not the easiest throw to make at all. So that just goes to show the kind of progress that Andrew Collar has really been making. Not only in his decision making, but also just putting the ball in the right place at any given time. So, it's 3rd and 4 coming up, as this will be the last play of the third. We're going to just go ahead and dump it off to DJ Porter there, as that should, in fact, take us into the end of the third quarter. It's been a rough day for your day in triangles, but I'll say this, though. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing overall offensively. We just need our defense to really step up and handle things here. So, with that being said, we got a 2nd and 10 coming up as Collar's going to go ahead. Tries to set up. Oh, it's dropped. It's dropped and it's intercepted. Oh, my goodness. Now, there is a flag, so maybe we can get bailed out if the flag is on somebody else. And it looks like it's not. It's on our center, Connor Heck. He was not doing a heck of a job blocking there as well. Not that we would still have the ball. Even without that penalty, we would have absolutely turned this ball over. But now New Orleans takes over yet again. And I thought we were finally going to get a stop defensively. I thought it was going to happen. But unfortunately, we're going to fall just short there. As now, a couple plays later, we're going to throw to the left-hand side. Star receiver gets open yet again and puts a nasty spin move on Denario Allen. Oh my goodness, that was absolutely ridiculous. As Will Holloway is on the verge of 500 yards of total offense through the air. And of course, got to pile it on our guys real quick. Tyler Pointer is going to end up getting called for the encroachment penalty. And now it was 1st and 5. And we haven't been able to get a stop on 1st and 10s usually. You think we're going to get a stop on 1st and 5? Nah, dog. We are just simply, we're not doing that today. As no matter who I use her, no matter what coverage I call, it just seems like we can't do anything. Now, 1st and 10 coming up as they'll go ahead and throw over to the left-hand side. And that will go for a gain of 6 there on the play, meaning that we will have 3rd and short coming right in our direction. And now 3rd and 3, a chance to finally get a stop, but nobody is there to cover the quarterback. And Will Holloway is going to take it into the end zone for yet another touchdown. And so while we get another touchdown ourselves in garbage time, it was an absolutely dominant affair for the New Orleans Breakers. And unfortunately, we're going to drop another game. Now, this was simply a game where really the weaknesses of our roster really showed through, because every meaningful drive that New Orleans had, they scored a touchdown. Literally every single time. And when we can't get any kind of stops in this spring football league, it's going to hurt us here, and that's exactly what happened here. We honestly played pretty well offensively, but those defensive issues have certainly been a problem. Now, with that being said, I do want to say Andrew Collar did play a pretty well of a game. 24 for 39, ends up going for 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. But, you know, again, overall played pretty well. Just didn't get help from his defense, to be honest with you. Paul last week was okay running the ball. He did have 54 yards on the ground, but we did that off of 15 carries. He did have a touchdown, but didn't really do much with it, to be honest with you. Receiving wise, Chris Saxon did lead the team in receiving yards. He had 79 yards and a touchdown, but we needed at least 125 to get his dev upgrade, so we don't even accomplish that, to be honest with you. Paul Lashley does also have a receiving touchdown as well, so Paul Lashley did have 2 touchdowns on the day. And then honestly, there really isn't anything to say in a positive way about this defense. I mean, like, when you had 7 meaningful possessions and you give up touchdowns on all 7 of those meaningful possessions, I mean, what is there to say? Ernest Cock led the team in tackles, and then Dylan Wright was right there with 6 tackles himself. Matt Weaver was at least able to get a sack, but we did not force any turnovers, honestly. And huge reason why we lost was because this defensive unit literally could not step by anything, no matter what I tried. So if any of you guys have any suggestions in the comment section in terms of how to play effective defense against an all Madden computer, definitely let me know, because I was certainly lost for sure. Now, before we close things out here, man, we do at least get a couple of upgrades that we can work through, man, so we can try to get better as a team. One of those such upgrades is on the defensive line. Eric Burden does get an upgrade that we can use, and I feel like I need some speed. I feel like I need almost a little bit of everything, to be honest with you. So what we're going to go ahead and here do, man, we're going to go ahead, we're going to go in with the speed rusher, and that is going to take him up to currently an 80 overall. He does have a +2 temporary boost at the moment, but that +4 hit power, +3 power move, +2 play recognition, that's certainly going to help ourselves out here. At least get more pressure on the quarterback, because that might be our best way to try and get any kind of pressure on this, getting in any kind of stops. Now, our backup quarterback, or at least one of our backups in Joey Wakefield, also does get an upgrade as well. And we're going to go ahead and use Strong Arm for this one. That will boost him up to a natural 68 overall, so he'll be fine as a backup. But he doesn't get too much love in terms of actual upgrades, though, which is interesting. So we're 3-5, so we are in the thick of things as of right now, but if we want to have any chance of making the playoffs here in season number 1, we're certainly gonna have to make a deep run. So that's what we're gonna try to do here in this next episode. We have 4 games that are coming up here that are all in that Sunday 1 o'clock slate, and so what we're gonna go ahead and do here, man, we're gonna play those next 4 games and just play the moments. So one of those teams that we'll go up against will take on the Atlanta Legends in the next episode. For the first part of it, we played them in the preseason, did lose them in the preseason, so we look to get some revenge there. We'll also take on the Philadelphia Stars. Not sure why that's saying Baltimore, but that's actually the Philadelphia Stars. Also, we'll play against the Pittsburgh Maulers. Lost to them pretty convincingly earlier in the season, but they got to come to our home turf this time around. Looking to see if we can get some revenge there. And then we'll close things out, taking on the Birmingham Stallions, which is probably one of the more recognizable brands in the spring football universe. So that's what we got going on here for the next episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you go ahead, smack that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. If you do happen to be brand new to the channel, this is John J Gaming on the mic signing off, but hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.